I was reading the San Diego Tribune article in last Sunday's paper about the Comic-Con, and it framed this particular moment in comics history as a battle between edge and respectability. It was like this mock panic attack about how the lowbrow, populist, slightly disreputable world of comics is being threatened now that the so-called cultural elite are embracing graphic novels as an art form. But I've been thinking a lot about this dynamic lately in terms of my own work, because if I were a young cartoonist starting out today, I don't know that I would have the nerve to enter the fray, because part of the great appeal of comics for me when I was starting out 25 years ago was precisely the fact that it was a lowbrow, low-pressure cultural field. I was very insecure in lots of ways, and cartoons were a creative outlet that didn't get closely critiqued or taken seriously in the way that fine art or literary writing did and does. So I wanted to make lesbians visible because I thought if people could see us, then they couldn't help but like us. I had this youthful sort of after-school special fantasy that even though my comic strip was about these big dykes, eventually it would reach a much broader audience because people would come to embrace them as characters, who they could now see were just regular people, were humans. By the end of the 90s, as more and more gay newspapers were folding and small presses were struggling, things started looking really grim. But very fortunately for me, I did experience a crossover, not in the way I had expected. I had been working for several years at that point on a memoir about my childhood, which in 2003 I sold to Houghton Mifflin, a big mainstream literary publisher. And that was not only very encouraging, it really saved my ass and made it economically possible to keep on doing my work. I feel like in a couple critical ways, Dykes to Watch Out For made Fun Home possible. My comic strip was a part of this political and cultural movement that created more space and acceptance in the world for queer narratives. Here's me actually doing this, doing the ink wash thing. Like I put the line art down on a light box, and here's my watercolor paper. And I just could shade in a very loose, free way. I experimented with shading in Photoshop. It just meant like so much time on the computer. I really hated that. So I came up with this technique. It's kind of cool though. I love watching people draw, even myself. And there is the final piece, just the shading. Wait a second, what the hell's this? Okay, this is me showing you my my crazy posing process. Like I'm posing now for one of the characters. You're gonna see. Here I'm stopping to say how crazy and obsessive compulsive this is. Because I've gotten like really dependent on. I can't just draw stuff out of my head anymore. It's really sad. I was drawing a picture of this guy reading a book on a couch. Well, now the camera takes the picture, there's the picture, and that's what I work from. Okay, and here's some examples of these crazy pictures I took. There's me posing as my dad for this drawing. Here I'm posing as my mom for this panel. Here I am posing as myself as a little kid. Here's my dad. And so I thought this book was about my father's suicide and this complex of issues surrounding the fact that we were both gay. Specifically, it's about how I learned to be an artist from my father, and also in spite of my father. I'm one of those rare people whose parents actually encouraged them to be an artist, which is a really double-edged kind of thing because you still have to rebel against it. So it's very interesting to me how this is all working out, how I've gone from really preferring the underground mode of expression that comics offered to having this book, Fun Home, be part of this movement towards mainstream legitimacy that comics is experiencing right now, and how that resonates for me on both a personal and a professional level.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that Alison is one of the reasons that I got into comics to begin with, reading them, and then to be inspired to do them. So I want to give you a big thank you for that. Dykes to Watch Out For was really a super big influence on me. Thank you.
the winner is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel.
Thank you very much. I have absolutely nothing prepared to say because I wasn't expecting to win this. But what a cool category, reality-based. Is that new? Is it like opposed to faith-based? I'm very happy to be in the reality-based community. Thank you.
How do you feel about being embraced by like the mainstream community now? Does that at all cross your mind?
Well, yeah, it's really wild. I mean, I feel like my whole career has been about like pushing against this door, like let me in, and all of a sudden somebody opened the door and I came like tumbling into the room. So I feel like I'm still kind of sprawled there on the floor. I don't know quite what to make of it. But really, because I've devoted so much energy to being an outsider, it's very odd to not be as outside as I used to be.